Hi guys, today's YouTube video is all about going back to school and also our mental health. In Florida right now, we are actually back to school this week, so I thought it'd be fun to do a quick little video on some tips on how to manage our mental health while we go back to school. And first of all, it's normal to have a little bit of anxiety, either as parents or also as kids, about going back to school. And so one of the things is, how do we help our kids transition back to school from the summertime, and also how we acknowledge our own feelings about our kids going back to school, whether it's some of us being excited or some of us being a little bit anxious because maybe we're starting a new school, or we're moved to a new area, or just we didn't have the best year last year. So for whatever the reason, whether we're feeling a little anxious or a little sad, all of that is okay. And it's important to acknowledge it and then learn some strategies on how to help transition from summertime to school. So the first thing is to acknowledge some anxiety. And as I said before, it's normal to have a little bit of anxiety about going back to school for kids and for adults. So, yesterday, my own son, my youngest one, was having some anxiety about going back to school, and he was able to communicate finally, like he was feeling stressed. And so I think it's important to acknowledge those emotions. And one of the things that I did is I gave him some strategies on how to kind of cope with feeling stressed. So first of all, as parents, when our kids are feeling anxious or even sad, sometimes they might tell us in ways that we don't know how they're feeling. So a lot of times if kids are anxious, they might act up or misbehave as a way to kind of tell us that they're really anxious. So we're quick to judge the misbehavior instead of really asking questions. So it's if we notice, our kids are kind of a little bit more amped up or acting out, the first thing is, of course, is to stop the behavior, and then also ask some deeper questions. And then once we're able to either talk about how they're feeling anxious, or help them kind of come up with how they're feeling, asking questions like, are you feeling anxious? Are you feeling stressed? Then we've got to give them validate their emotions first. It's okay to feel anxious. It's okay to be worried about starting your first day, and then give them some strategies. So with our kids and with all emotions, it's important to validate their emotions and then help them problem solve, or just acknowledge that it's okay to have feelings. So with anxiety, I tell kids, even my own, the first thing we can do is take a deep breath. Even me, I have to remind myself that when I feel anxious. And, that's one of the things I told my kids yesterday too, is I was feeling anxious too, because we were going to start a new schedule, new routines, a new school. And so it's the first thing is, when we get anxious, we kind of ramp up. And so the best thing is, first stop, take a deep breath, and focus on, okay, what's in my control here? What are some strategies I need? So deep breathing, doing something fun together as a family, helps us cope with the anxiety or the change that's coming. One of the things to do is ask, well, if you're having some big feelings, like feeling worried about starting new school, what do you need? And how can I help with that? So really, having that kind of conversation with them. And then just kind of noticing over the next few days how they're doing and checking in. And if you notice throughout the year that the anxiety is still the same, or it's actually increasing, or you're noticing feelings of sadness or depression, then I would absolutely not only talk to them more about what's happening, but also maybe schedule a meeting with the teacher, ask the teacher what's going on, get some ideas from the teacher of what they're noticing in school. And again, if things continue, then I would also contact a therapist. So that is one thing. The other thing is giving them, you can also ask the teacher if it's okay if they bring like a stress ball or, something, a picture or something to remind them of, things that make them feel good, like a family vacation. Or stress ball, I think, is a good thing to have in class because it's something that they can do while they're in school, especially if they're feeling anxious during the school day. And again, you got to remind your kids, you can't throw the ball around the classroom or share it with others. That's something just for you to have to help when you have big feelings or uncomfortable feelings throughout the day. And a picture is just something that helps, remind you of, your family or things that make you smile. So I think those are good things. Also, when we feel anxious, we can sometimes go into like fight or flight when we get that tense mode. So I tell people it's good to drink a lot of water. Water helps us, in my opinion, water helps us feel better, and we're also then not dehydrated. And when we get really dehydrated, that it also presents the symptoms of anxiety. And then depending on the age of your kid, keeping a journal, sometimes a journal, or not sometimes, all times, a journal helps us kind of communicate our feelings without having to say them out loud, or just talk through things without having to say them out loud. It's a good way to kind of get out what you're holding on to. And then as a family, I would recommend keeping a gratitude journal, things that you're grateful for, and that helps make you feel better too. So those are some strategies for your child. And then as an adult, if you're having some anxiety about your kids either starting school for the first time, starting a new school, or also, just the change of routines, what sort of strategies are you using to help you throughout the day too? And, again, like I said, deep breathing, what's in my control, stop and slow down. I don't know about you, but when I get stressed, I just boom, 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 go, 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 which actually is a horrible idea because it just makes me even more stressed. So stopping and slowing down and enjoying things in the moment, and creating connections with your kids in those moments, because when we get really anxious or stressed out, they get really anxious. So stopping and pausing and creating a connection with them is also something that helps you cope with your own anxiety or stress, and it also helps with them too. Creating your own gratitude list also helps you throughout the day. So those, or throughout the whole school year. And then remember, check in with yourself. How am I doing, over the next few days? So that's another great strategy that you can use to help when you're also transitioning from summertime routine to school time routine. So those are just some quick strategies for you, how to help your child cope with stress or a little bit of anxiety as they go back to the new school year, and also how to help yourself. I also have some other videos that I've done throughout the year about going back to school, how to create a family meeting for your family, and that also helps with transitioning from summertime to school time. And so check those 2 videos out also. All right, guys, don't forget to subscribe to my channel for weekly updates all about relationships. Have a great day.